Himtha, loss of his homeland, the collapse of order he had vowed to restore through any means necessary. It was this conviction that blinded him to the growing dissent, and now that same dissent threatened to undo everything. Meanwhile, far from the war room's oppressive atmosphere, Lena Dawes watched from her concealed position near the perimeter of Cross's encampment. Her sharp eyes scanned the faces of soldiers and mercenaries alike, reading the subtle signs of unrest, the clenched jaws, the fleeting glances of mistrust, the whispered conversations quickly cut short. "They're not invincible," she thought, fingers tightening around the grip of her sidearm. "If we can exploit that, maybe we stand a chance." Back inside, the tension escalated. A heated argument erupted between two mercenary factions in the barracks, voices rising as accusations flew. One side condemned the mission's brutality, while the other insisted on ruthless efficiency. The clash echoed through the cold, metallic corridors, a stark reminder that Cross's iron grip was slipping. Cross stormed into the barracks personally, his shadow falling over the arguing men. "Enough," he roared. "You will follow orders, or you will be replaced. There is no room for weakness." But the damage was done. Seeds of doubt had taken root, and no amount of intimidation could erase the growing rift. Rourke, standing quietly to the side, exchanged a glance with Lena's contact within the camper, subtle nod signaling that the time to act was near. Across the shifting lands, Elias Mercer and his allies felt the shift as well. Intelligence from Jade Kim confirmed the unrest, and Professor Mollick's historical knowledge framed it as a pivotal moment. These internal conflicts, Mollick mused, mirror the ancient struggles of empires. When the foundation cracks, the entire structure becomes vulnerable. Elias nodded, determination hardening his features. "We have our opening. But we must move carefully, this advantage is fragile." As dawn broke, casting pale light across the unsettled camp of Cross's forces, the general convened a council. His eyes burned with renewed resolve, but beneath the surface, a storm of doubt raged. The living map outside seemed to pulse with the tension, its lines and symbols shifting unpredictably, mirroring the turmoil within. The chapter closed on a tense note. Fissures within the enemy's ranks offered hope, yet the danger remained palpable. Ilias's next moves would require all his skill and courage, for the battle ahead was not only against a powerful adversary, but against the unpredictable tides of trust and betrayal. As the first rays of sunlight touched the horizon, the question lingered in the air: could the fragile alliance of dissenters within Cross's ranks tip the balance in the relentless pursuit of the map's secret, or would the general's iron will crush the rebellion before it could bloom? The shifting lands awaited the answer, as did the fate of the world itself. Elias Mercer sat alone in his tent, the flickering flame of a lone lantern casting long, wavering shadows over the faded maps and scattered notes that cluttered his small workspace. Outside, the desert wind whispered faintly, carrying with it the chill promise of dawn. Carefully, reverently, Elias unfolded a fragile letter, the edges worn and the ink faded almost to illegibility. It was a letter from his lost mentor, Dr. Samuel Hargraver, man whose disappearance had fractured Ilias's world and fueled the disillusionment that once threatened to end his career. The letter's weight in his hands was heavier than its thin paper suggested. Every word seemed etched with the urgency of a man who had glimpsed something extraordinary and terrifying. "Elias," it began, "if you are reading this, it means my warnings went unheeded, or worse, that I have become part of the very mystery I sought to unravel. The map is alive, a living testament to the world's origins, shifting with the dawn as if the earth itself breathes and dreams. But such power is a double-edged sword. I have seen forces moving in the shadows, hungry for its secrets. Trust no one but yourself and seek the truth with caution. Ilyas's fingers trembled slightly as he traced the faded script. Memories surged, long nights spent poring over ancient charts, arguments with colleagues who dismissed their research as folly, and the last expedition where Samuel had vanished without a trace. The letter was more than a message. It was a summons, a beacon in the encroaching darkness of doubt and despair. At first light, Ilyas packed the letter carefully into his satchel alongside the living map, now marked with new pathways and symbols that had appeared overnight. He sought out Professor Harun Malik, the eccentric historian whose passion for lost civilizations had proven invaluable. Malik's cluttered tent was a sanctuary of dusty tomes and arcane artifacts, the scent of aged parchment thick in the air. "Ah, Ilyas," Malik greeted him with a warm but distracted smile, his fingers stained with ink. "What new mysteries do you bring today?" Ilyas laid the letter and the mentor's journal on the table between them. "I found this last night. It's from Samuel Hargrave. I believe his disappearance is tied directly to the map's secrets." Malik's eyes widened as he carefully turned the brittle pages, revealing cryptic symbols and marginalia that matched those now appearing on the living map. "Remarkable," he murmured. "These annotations suggest he was on the verge of a breakthrough, but also that he feared for his life. The map is more than a guide. It's a key to something ancient and powerful." Together, they deciphered passages hinting at a hidden chamber, a place where the world's first dawn, its cradle, might be found. The symbols spoke of sacrifice and guardianship, and Ilyas felt the weight of his mentor's legacy settling upon his shoulders. Outside, a sudden storm broke, rattling the tent and whipping the desert sands into a furious dance. Ilyas sat motionless, the roar of wind and the crack of distant thunder mirroring the turmoil within him. Memories of past failures, of promises broken and trust betrayed, threatened to overwhelm his resolve. Yet the map lay beside him, its ever-shifting contours a reminder that the world was not static, and neither was he. The storm passed as quickly as it had arrived, leaving behind a sky streaked with pale pink and gold. Ilyas stepped outside, the cool air filling his lungs. Before him, the living map glowed faintly in the early light, a new path etched across its surface, one that seemed to beckon him onward. He knew now that the journey was no longer just about discovery. It was about honoring a legacy, confronting the shadows of the past, and embracing the uncertain future. With a deep breath, Ilyas folded the map carefully and set his gaze toward the horizon. The dawn was breaking, and with it, a renewed sense of purpose surged within him. "For you, Samuel," he whispered, "I will see this through." And with that vow, the path ahead, though shrouded in mystery and danger, felt just a little more certain. But the shadows that had claimed his mentor had not vanished. They lingered still, and as Ilyas turned back to his preparations, a cold certainty settled in his bones. The true test was only just beginning. The living map pulsed in his satchel, alive and unpredictable, as if aware that its guardian had awakened at last. And with every dawn, new secrets would call him onward, deeper into the shifting lands and the heart of the unknown. The legacy of the mentor was no longer just a memory, it was a guiding light. Ilyas Mercer was ready to follow it, no matter where it led. Ilyas Mercer stood at the heart of their fragile refuge. The ancient map spread on a stone slab before him, its surface shimmering faintly under the flickering torchlight. Outside, the rumble of General Victor Cross's forces grew louder, a relentless drumbeat pounding against the ancient walls that guarded this forgotten cradle of the world. "They're coming," Lena Dawes said, her voice low but steady as she crouched beside Elias, checking the ammunition in her rifle with practiced efficiency. Her sharp eyes never left the entrance to the cavernous chamber, where shadows danced amid the flickering flames of hastily lit braziers. Elias nodded, his gaze locked on the map's shifting patterns. The dawn had revealed a new transformation over Nita, complex web of symbols and pathways that seemed to pulse with hidden meaning. He traced the glowing lines with trembling fingers, desperate to decipher their secret before the siege overwhelmed them. "Professor Malik," Elias called, glancing toward the older man who was hunched over a collection of ancient tablets and inscriptions nearby. The archaeologist's graying beard was flecked with dust, his eyes alight with feverish intensity. "What do you make of this?" Malik adjusted his spectacles and leaned closer to the map, muttering under his breath as he compared the symbols with those on the relics. "These markings, they correspond to ancient defensive mechanisms," he said, voice rising above the distant clamor. "If we can unlock their meaning, we might be able to activate something to slow Cross's advance." Before Elias could respond, a sudden explosion shook the chamber, sending a shower of dust and small stones raining down. Lena sprang to her feet, weapon raised, eyes scanning the darkened entrance. "They're breaching the outer defenses." "Marco," Elias called out, "how long until they reach the inner sanctum?" The local guide, a rugged man with sun-weathered skin and a wiry frame, was already moving toward the narrow passageways that twisted deeper into the city. "Minutes, at best. We need to hold them here." Jade Kim's voice crackled through the comlink, sharp and precise. "We've detected multiple enemy squads converging on your location. Reinforcements are en route, but ETA is uncertain." Elias swallowed hard, feeling the crushing weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. The map's shifting lines seemed to pulse faster now, as if aware of the danger closing in. He focused on the glowing symbols, each one a puzzle piece in the desperate race against time. The first wave of mercenaries burst through the outer gate, their boots pounding the ancient stone floors, weapons raised and eyes cold with ruthless intent. Lena met them head-on, moving with lethal grace as she fired precise shots that echoed through the tunnels. The clash was brutal and unyielding, the air thick with the scents of gunpowder and sweat. Elias returned to the map, muttering to himself as he connected symbols and traced pathways. "If I can just align these points." "Yes, that's it." Professor Malik joined him, voice urgent but calm. "The mechanism should activate a defensive barrier, an ancient force field of sorts, but it requires simultaneous triggers at multiple points within the city." "Then we split up," Lena said, catching her breath amid the chaos. "Marco and I will cover the eastern passage. You, Malik, and Jade handle the west. Elias, you stay here and keep decoding." "It's too dangerous," Elias protested, but the determined glint in Lena's eyes left no room for argument. As they scattered through the labyrinthine city, Elias remained anchored to the map, his mind racing to keep pace with its ever-shifting secrets. The walls trembled under the force of Cross's assault, the ground vibrating with each explosion and volley of fire. Suddenly, a sharp crack echoed behind him. He spun to see Captain Rourke leading a group of mercenaries down a side corridor, their advance methodical and deadly. "Elias." Lena's voice crackled urgently in his earpiece. "We're holding them off, but they're adapting faster than we can counter. Keep working on that map." With a grim nod, Elias returned to the glowing surface, the symbols dancing before his eyes. Time was slipping away like sand through his fingers, and the fate of the city and, perhaps the world, hung precariously in the balance. Outside, the siege raged on, a brutal symphony of destruction and defiance. But within these ancient stone walls, amidst dust and echoes of forgotten civilizations, Elias Mercer fought not just for survival, but for the very secrets of existence itself. As the first light of dawn began to seep through cracks in the cavern ceiling, the map pulsed with renewed intensity. Elias's heart pounded in rhythm with its glow. The final pieces were falling into place, but so were the shadows closing in. "Hold fast," Elias whispered, more to himself than anyone else. "The dawn will bring answers, or the end." And with that, the battle for the map and the world's origin entered its most perilous hour. Our camp, hastily assembled on the edge of a rocky outcrop, felt less like a sanctuary and more like a pressure cooker ready to burst. Lena's voice cut sharply through the quiet, her words laced with frustration and disbelief. "Haroon, you can't keep dismissing the practical risks for the sake of your theories. We're not here to chase myths. We're here to survive and protect the map." Haroon Malik, ever the eccentric scholar, adjusted his glasses and countered with a thin smile, though his eyes betrayed the sting beneath. "And yet, Lena, without understanding the mythos, the map's power remains beyond our grasp. We need context, not just caution." The tension between them was palpable, the friction born from divergent priorities. Lena's pragmatism clashed violently with Malik's idealistic pursuit of knowledge. I watched, feeling the weight of responsibility press down on me heavier than ever. The fragile alliance we'd built threatened to crumble under this strain. Nearby, Marco Silva leaned against a boulder, his dark eyes scanning the flickering flames. Beside him, Jade Kim tapped nervously on her handheld device, the glow reflecting off her tense face. Their whispered exchanges, just out of earshot, spoke volumes. Doubts about loyalty, fears of betrayal, and the growing sense that none of us could be taken at face value anymore. I stepped forward, clearing my throat to draw their attention. "Enough," I said, voice steady though my insides churned. "We can't afford this discord, not now. The map is changing, and with it, the dangers we face. If we fall apart, Cross will pick us off one by one." Silence fell as the truth of my words settled among us. I saw Lena's glare soften just slightly, Malik's fingers stilling on his notes, Marco's posture easing, and Jade lowering her device. The map lay open on the makeshift table, the delicate parchment alive with shifting lines and symbols that danced with the dawn's promise. "We need to trust each other," I continued, "not blindly, but enough to move forward together. Each of you brings something vital to this quest: your skills, your knowledge, your instincts. We're stronger as one and weaker divided." Lena's voice, though still edged with caution, held a new note. "I'm willing to try, but the moment any of us jeopardizes the mission, there will be consequences." Haroon nodded, his eyes alight with renewed purpose. "Agreed. Let us proceed with eyes wide open, but hearts aligned." Marco spoke up, his gravelly tone firm. "We've come too far to let mistrust undo us now. Count me in." Jade gave a slight, determined smile. "Same here. We keep watch and keep each other safe." As the first light of dawn crept over the horizon, I folded my hands over the map, feeling its warmth pulse beneath my fingers. The path ahead was uncertain, fraught with peril and shadows. But in that moment, a fragile hope took root. An alliance mended, ready to face whatever shifting lands would throw at us next. Yet, beneath that hope lay the unspoken question hanging in the air. How long could trust survive in a world where nothing stayed the same, and enemies lurked in every shadow? The map was alive, and so was the danger. Our unity was our greatest weapon, and our greatest vulnerability. I knew this night was only the beginning of the trials to come, but as leader, I would carry the burden of that hope and the weight of our fragile alliance into the uncertain dawn. Elias Mercer sat cross-legged on the cold flagstones, the ancient map unfurled before him on a wooden table scavenged from the ruins. The air was heavy with dust, and the faint scent of damp earth mingled with the metallic temps of old stone. He traced a finger over the faded ink, feeling the rough texture beneath his touch. As the sun's rays grew stronger, a subtle shimmer began to ripple across the map's surface. Elias blinked, leaning closer as new lines and symbols began to etch themselves into existence, weaving and redrawing with quiet purpose. The map was alive, its secrets revealing themselves only at dawn, and today it offered something unprecedented, a new path, one that stretched beyond the known depths of the city into an abyss of mystery. "Look at this," Elias whispered, his voice barely above the rising chorus of awakening birds far above ground. "The map's showing us a way deeper into the earth." Lena Dawes stood nearby, her dark eyes sharp and alert as they flicked between the map and the shadowed corridors beyond. Her posture was tense, muscles coiled like a predator waiting to spring. "Deeper means more danger," she said quietly. "Cross's men are tightening their grip. If we go down there, we're walking into the lion's den." Elias nodded, the weight of the decision pressing down on him. Yet the allure of discovery was too strong. This path could lead them to the cradle of the world's origin, the heart of the myth they had chased for so long. The map's warning was clear. This was no ordinary journey, but a test, and failure could mean more than just death. Professor Harun Malik shuffled closer, his gnarled fingers delicately adjusting his spectacles as he examined the newly formed inscriptions. His voice, usually filled with excited speculation, was now laced with caution. "These symbols, they speak of trials, of guardianship. The map itself is a gatekeeper. It doesn't surrender its secrets lightly." Elias felt a chill run down his spine. "So, it's not just the terrain we need to fear." "Exactly," Malik replied. "The map's power is intertwined with this place. If we falter, we could trigger traps, or worse." Marco Silva, the local guide, stepped forward, his rugged frame silhouetted by the dawn glow behind him. His eyes scanned the crumbling walls until they settled on a narrow fissure hidden beneath a tangle of creeping vines and moss. "This is the way," he said firmly. "The map's path leads through here. It's been hidden for centuries." The scent of earth and ancient stone filled the air as the group gathered their gear. Heartbeats quickened in the cold morning air, mingling with the distant drip of water echoing through the cavernous depths. Elias felt the weight of their mission settle over him, a fragile balance between hope and dread. "We move at first light," Lena said, her voice steady but underscored with urgency. "Every moment we hesitate, Cross's forces grow stronger." Elias folded the map carefully, slipping it into his satchel. "Then we have no choice. We follow the map, wherever it leads." Together, they approached the fissure, the passage yawning like the mouth of some ancient beast. The walls pressed in tightly, rough stone cold to the touch, illuminated only by the weak light filtering from above. With a deep breath, Elias led the way into the darkness, the map's glow faint but steadfast against the encroaching shadows. As they descended, each step carried the weight of history and destiny. The air grew cooler, thick with the promise of revelation and the threat of unknown peril. Every sound, the scrape of boots on stone, the rustle of fabric, the distant drip of water, was amplified in the silence, a reminder of their fragile existence in this shifting world. Elias's thoughts raced. What secrets lay at the end of this path? Could they uncover the truth behind the world's origin, or would they become another forgotten story swallowed by time? The map had brought them here, but it was their courage and trust in one another that would determine if they emerged triumphant or lost forever. Above them, the first rays of the sun pierced the surface, illuminating a world still caught between dawn and daylight, a world where knowledge danced dangerously with power, and every step forward was a step into the unknown. The flickering light from our torches danced across walls carved with symbols that seemed both alien and hauntingly familiar. It was as if we had crossed a threshold into a forgotten world, a cradle not just of land but of legend itself. Marco's steady footsteps echoed faintly on the stone floor, a somber rhythm underscoring the gravity of our discovery. I adjusted my round glasses, trying to pierce the shadows that clung stubbornly to every crevice. The walls were alive with carvings, intricate, deliberate, telling stories in a language that felt part myth, part science. "Look at this," Professor Malik whispered, his graying beard nearly brushing the rough stone as he knelt before a panel etched with concentric circles and cryptic glyphs. "This isn't just decoration. It's a map of something foundational." I stepped closer, tracing my fingers over a cold metal mechanism embedded in the floor beneath the carvings. It hummed faintly under my touch, a vibration that resonated through my bones. The air thrummed with a silent power, and I felt the weight of history pressing down on us. Suddenly, a distant rumble echoed through the chamber, dust trickling from the ceiling as Lena's sharp gaze swept the shadows. "We're not alone," she muttered, steadying herself against a pillar as the ground beneath us seemed to shift imperceptibly. "This place responds," Marco added, his voice low and cautious. "Like the map above, the land here isn't fixed. It moves, changes." Professor Mollick's eyes gleamed with a mixture of fear and fascination. "These symbols speak of origins, not just of the world, but of knowledge itself. The map, its shifting paths. They're part of a larger mechanism, a balance maintained since time immemorial." My scientific skepticism warred with the undeniable evidence before me. The map I had once seen as mere parchment